Account settings, allow attendee.
This cheers. And from here, hook over the top. And now we're in a winning test.
Hi, Ross.
Hello.
I'm just gonna watch in because I'm gonna have dinner soon, but if that's all right.
Yeah, of course. Just trying to get make sure the camera's all decent. Better. Look at that. I'll be right back. What are you doing?
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Megan.
Sorry, I'm early.
I actively look forward to that hello, Meg.
How are you guys doing?
Hard today. You know, some
Hard
days
today?
are bad. Today's a bad one.
Is it just because of the lack of exciting announcement yesterday?
Oh, not really. Just ups and downs. Not some days I'm fine, other days it's just that.
Just a bit of PMS.
I'm strong.
Yeah, and he would deliberately drop me.
I'm strong. Fine.
Maybe I could get a baseball bat and try to break it. That could be. So there's a baseball bat challenge where you try and break it with a straight footlock kind of position. Caesar asked me for a bunch of.
I have a hockey stick. I'm very sharp. Little town. Your dad has a mental baseball bat.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to catch that.
You can't just stand on me, that's not fair. Standing on people illegal. I think it's bang out of order. What I'm going to do armbar defenses and grip breaks. That, all the stuff on that.
Isn't it, when they sing, that Thursday?
It's Thursdays. You should come to the singing.
I'm setting up this.
We set it up before.
You can finish work at like 7:30. Anyway, I listened to it. It's really loud. It goes through the flat.
It's really cool.
How many people we got? Let's see if we should start. Go on to your. So we're going to look at some grip breaks and some sneaky moves from the armbar position. So pretty standard, lots of different ways we can get you. Not going to cover the entries into the position, but we're going to cover how we deal with certain grips our opponent can take when we have them in this armbar here. So it's also a starting position in EBI overtime. So you do have an option of starting in this position in EBI overtime. Benefit of it with EBI stuff is probably easier to hit a submission than the back, but harder to maintain the position and control. So issues with lower grades in this position, what I see a lot is people trying to wrap their hands around their opponent's arm and lean in and trying to pull back using their hands. Forget you even have these. So our control should always be forearm. We want our elbow to be connected with the underside of there. We don't want to be leaning backwards. The more you lean back, it actually makes it easier for her to potentially sit up and turn into me. Don't do it. So the grip break is separate to the armbar. You lean back to apply the armbar once you've broken the grip. You stay leaning forward, your head over your opponent whilst you're trying to break the grip to straighten the arm. So yeah, common mistake. You see this sort of shit, awful. You're never going to break the grip like this. Stay leaning forward first. So Susie's taking an S grip here. It's the first grip we're going to break. To finish it, to break this grip, you move our control. This is quite easy to switch. Sometimes you'll find yourself with the lower arm through. It should again, elbow connected with the pit of her elbow like this. So pit of elbow together. I like cupping the hip on the side that I'm punching through to. So that makes it a really hard control to get out of. If you go too high, it's easier for her to slip her elbow free. So this grip should be high up by a hip. If the other hand is through, again, on the other hip. Try to slip your elbow out, very difficult. If I'm cupping high, a lot easier to extract that elbow. So control or control. To break this grip, we're going to move this crease, the crease of our elbow up to our opponent's wrist. So to make this grip weaker, she's taking an S grip. We move the elbow up and we have a vertical forearm like this across the wrist. If you're going to cross the forearm, you're going to make it more difficult for yourself. Down by the elbow is virtually impossible. So move this up and here. We've got to replace the control that our arm had over the elbow by leaning our chest forward when we do this. So we want to compress that elbow tight. Punch the elbow up, vertical forearm across the wrist here. Now from here, this keeps our elbow low, and now peeling up breaks the grip. So we peel towards her head. If they've got a particularly strong grip, then we can lean north, peeling above the head. So this is buckling her wrist. You aren't make a fist if your wrist is buckled like this. So what we're trying to do is to get that shape on their hand. So link it up with the S grip again. Punch up the forearm. You can make the grip break more effective by coming over, linking your hands together. This elbow will need to come in front of her elbow like this. So this replaces my chest and puts a more severe angle on her arm. If we can get her forearm punching up like this to her head, it can be very difficult for her to maintain that grip. So that's the shape on the arm that we want to create. So can do that by pinning the elbow down with our chest, or once we have this, elbow comes in front to here. This can be a little bit tricky. Initially come in. So top palm facing towards her legs, lower palm, elbow in front, her elbow connect. And now that is a very easy grip break there. From here, now we can fall backwards, pinching on these together, bringing our heels to our butt. This is really important. You want to be circling your heels towards your butt like this. It doesn't matter if there's air between your opponent's chest and head and your leg. What gives you the control is this curl on your heels, weight on this side of your body. It's called heavy legs. So heavy knee pinch here, will fall back, really trust that pinch on your knees and suck those heels to your butt tight. Now, in terms of finishing the armbar, just pull it down. You can pick a hip if you'd like. Some people say pointing their thumb up to the ceiling. If you've got a really tight control over her arm with a heavy pinch on your legs, the thumb can be pointing down and it will still come on. But if you're struggling, you can always point the thumb up to the ceiling, make it a bit tighter. So again, so our opponent's taking an S grip, super strong. So here, linked up the S grip. Our control should start with our forearm buried and cupping our hip, not up by our knee, our hip, when we want to be leaning forward. Move this forearm up, hook in your opponent's wrist. Here, you can lean this way. Fortunately, leaning this way actually peels my chest away from the elbow, so it makes it, so I can't make that shape with her arm. Sometimes you get the release if you can't. At this point, when you're leaning, hand comes in, elbow finds the front of her elbow, and there's our grip break. Fall backwards, heels tight to your butt, and apply the armbar. Is everyone cool with that? Everyone want any clarification for their notes, or want to do some reps of a partner? So punch, deep, palm, lean, break the grip, fall back, making sure you suck those heels to your butt. Please feel free to shout out questions. It can be about anything. Doesn't need to be about this position.
Ross,
Yeah, who's that?
yeah, Lenny here. When you're having the grip to pull back, it's palm to palm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that. So this one would come up, you go like this. This lower elbow coming in front of my, and we want to point the forearm. Instead of being like this, we want the forearm that's taking the grip.
Yeah.
And she won't be able to maintain that grip there.
Okay.
So we'll be back.
Thanks.
Was it for a while? Sorry. Relaxing. So, on to the next one. I'll cover some defenses as well. So, a very common one is the arm that I'm tapping, she'll cup the bicep, and this hand would be under my top leg. She's looking to do this because a major escape for her is to clear this leg off of her head, pushing out, and then getting her head up and over the top of my thigh like this. She will then look to bridge over the leg and then look to turn into me, freeing herself from the armbar. So if you can clear this top leg, it's a decent out. Now, a lot of people have trouble breaking this grip. Reason why it's difficult to buckle the wrist. Her top forearm is bracing her wrist. So like the previous one, if I lean forward and try to go there, this forearm isn't allowing her wrist to bend. So what we look to do here, we take something called a spider web. We underhook the lower leg here. Okay, so that's the spider web control. Top hand again, punch through, cup in the lower hip. So you really want to make these transitions from hip to hip pretty clean. So we end up with both arms in and you're ready, you extract the other one. We don't know what grip they might be taking, or they may switch up the grip. So she could start with an S grip, which case, in order to break that, I need this hand, well, I need this hand too, but you never know which one you want. So she switches up the grip. Underhook from here, I bring my top leg, I swim it over and in front of the elbow, like this. So, hold on tight. I lean towards the feet, swim this in front, and now here, I kick and strip the grip. So try holding on. So I lean, Susie's got rock climber grips, really strong. Elbow, leg comes in front of this, and I kick and free that grip. She tried really hard there.
And I hit you.
And she slapped me in the face. So punch it through, cup the hip, lean towards the legs. Underhook the leg with a spider web, top leg swims over in front of the elbow. So she must be cupping her bicep here. So see, shin, heel, in front of the elbow, kick and strip. From here, slide your forearm down to the wrist for the application. So you don't want to switch to your hands. Once this breaks, forearm and crease of your elbow slides down her forearm to the wrist and you apply it here. So heels tight. She cuts it. Step. She's looking to clear this leg off of the head and bridge over this leg. So what makes this harder is me leaning towards her legs. She can potentially look to swing her legs out here. So legs go out and away and look to get to her knees, turning into me. So that's why we want to keep this leg close to us. So she can't swing her legs out and away. She can't sit up on me. She can't push that leg off because I'm leaning towards her legs. From here, we swim over, kick, slide down to the wrist, and apply that arm bar. So yeah, we're shutting down two of the primary escapes for her, which we will probably cover a little bit. Some ideas now escape in this position. Yeah. Super common, very difficult one to break. Bicep. Take a spider web, lean to the feet, top up leg comes over and clears at the elbow. Last time. Punch it through, lean to the feet, hug the leg so she can't walk her feet away from you and turn onto her stomach. So if I miss this, she'll walk her feet away and get onto her knees there and start looking to stack out of the armbar. So if I keep this leg close to me, she can't walk her feet away and therefore can't get up. So from here, leg comes over, heel on to the elbow, we kick through, pinching our knees, applying the arm. If everyone's cool with that, if not, throw some questions at me, do some drilling. I think this is also, if you've got a partner at home, you could probably get away with a limited amount of space and do like specific sparring from tied up armbar positions. Winner is the person who gets out or gets finished or finishes. Yes, maybe Susie and I can play that tomorrow. How many arm bars do you think you'll get out of?
No.
No. Right, so we've got S grip, bicep. Hard one now. I've got some fun techniques and transitioning into triangles and omoplatas off of this as well, so it will get a little bit more entertaining.
You didn't hear that, but I just said yay.
Yeah. So boring stuff. This is the important stuff. Right. Probably one of the hardest ones, like backwards and feet around. My opponent takes this grip set. So the arm that I'm attacking is grabbing the bicep on the far side. And instead of this arm being up and under my leg, she is cupping the other elbow. So sometimes with this is an easy, well, doesn't often work against higher level people. You punch top elbow through and this hand pulls the other elbow towards you. This gives you enough space to work your lower hand in through the wrist here sometimes. So we can go for that original grip break, leaning towards the head to break the grip. So we pull this elbow to us and it allows us to work this hand through the middle, splitting her arms. Forearm comes up vertical and we start peeling towards her head to buckle that grip. Now, say it doesn't work hugely often. She is protecting the arm that I'm attacking. The one that's slightly harder is to attack the arm bar on the far side. So she's not protecting this. If this arm's on top. So from here, we take this leg off, pulling this elbow towards us, and now this knee is going to shoot up and around to the top of her head here. So we transition to the arm bar on the other side. So pull the elbow to you, top leg comes off, heel pointing behind. So now from here, this knee is going to travel above the head, up. And we straighten this leg, throwing it in. So from here, she's protected the wrong arm, and I'm able to lean back, peeling this arm away to the other side. So we're in again. Pull the elbow to you, take this leg off. Actually did that a little bit wrong. Keep this knee facing towards the head. You'll find the transition easier. So as we pull this to us, we can use this hand to base onto the floor to help us lift our hips up. So you see, I bring this foot down, ready for my knee to travel up. So from here to here. There's the transition. Susie's making noises, she needs to toughen up a bit. So leg comes off like this. And now you see how I take kind of running position, pointing my hips this way, but with both heels facing this way. So pull this elbow to you. If this elbow's too far over to this side, it will block your knee from traveling. So you've got to bring this elbow really close. Yeah, so now I've got a clean shot for this knee to travel up above my opponent's head. This palm on the floor to take weight up off my hips and to give me the mobility to do that. I'm trying to keep the weight off Susie now. So pull the elbow to you, hand on the ground. There's the position. Hips up. So now from here, take the arm and fall backwards for your arm bar. So we'll do it from the other side. Last one because Susie's really struggling. Pull that elbow up, switch sides. Pull that elbow up, switch sides. So yeah, if somebody's taking this grip set, your job is to switch sides on the arm bar.
Have you drilled this on women before?
Is it? Is it? Sorry. Bye bye.
Ross, on that, sorry,
Yeah.
on that transition, when you have swapped sides and you've got your knee up high, is your intention to get the arm through as quickly as possible, or is it to control the opposite elbow still, even though you're going for the near one? Like, what's your control point in the arm?
Initially, is this cup on the elbow? We'll pull it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right there, if she manages to, she won't. It's unlikely she'll be able to extract this lower elbow, but I'm not looking to attack this arm anymore. I'm actually looking. So now, there's our running position. Both heels face below. And now once I get up to sitting on my opponent's chest, this hand that was cupping the elbow.
Great. So you hook straight through. Okay.
I love these 45 minutes.
Ross, I've got a question as well. Usually when my training partner does that, I'd go into a triangle instead and roll over. Which one's more risky in terms of implementing? Jumping to the other side for the armbar, or trying to go for a triangle when you roll over?
Could have both. Say the armbar is probably more risky, but I'll see which move best fits you. So shooting triangles is good when your opponent is giving you room to put this foot through under her arm. So because she's taken this, there's actually quite limited space for me to get that foot through here. So if you're struggling to get this foot through, then look to attack the armbar. But if she's taking a looser grip, maybe a butterfly grip or an S grip, something like this, then you've got all the room in the world to switch through the triangles. So it depends once she's shutting down. Drill bolts, have bolts in your armory. There's nothing worse than being stuck here. You can't get your foot in, you can't break the grip, you're kind of stuck for somewhere to go.
Sure. Thank you.
No worries. But that's a good one. I mean, we'll move on to apply the triangle from here now. So, my opponent's taken a slightly wider grip set. She's taking an S grip. Not a huge, I really don't like using my heel in this slot too much. The reason why is I'm losing a lot of control on my opponent. Like I mentioned earlier, the armbar control is from both of these heels getting sucked towards your butt. It's not about weight going through your opponent, your legs. Your legs are really light here. It's this heel curl. So switching this foot up to inside here, it's no longer making contact with my opponent, therefore I lose a lot of control. So another option here is to switch to triangles. You can use this lower leg to go through above the far arm. We'll be looking to lean down towards our opponent's legs, taking weight up off of this top leg. She thinks that she can sit up and clear this leg off of her head. So as this happens and she starts turning into me to stack out the armbar, she ends up in a triangle instead. So it's just a basic little trap, but you've got to allow your opponent to turn into it. So here, you take your spider web, take this top leg off, she let her sit up, let her turn in, and now from here, lock your triangle. If we spin it round to the other side, we can look at the application of the triangle. So my opponent's taking a grip on the far side, struggling to break the grip. Foot goes through. I lean towards the feet, taking weight up off of the top leg. She sits up. And there's our triangle. So we chop this leg up, slapping our hamstring across the meat of the neck here. So big issue with triangles, people try to lock them up too early. So I need to have my hamstring connected with her neck. So I could rush it, lock it up here, and I've got a really shitty angle on the triangle where I've got a huge, I can fit my hand here between my neck, between my opponent's neck and my thigh. So you've got to give it time and get that angle right. I want this thigh connecting deep there and then locking up. Down. Last rep on this. Top arm is controlling my opponent's arm. I lean to the feet. This leg comes through. She sits up. Top leg pops off. And lock up the triangle. So yeah, that's moving to a triangle from an armbar position where we're struggling to break the arm, where we have room to feed our foot through to the other side. Lean to the feet, allowing your opponent to sit up, get into her knees, and switch into the triangle there. But don't lock it up early. If you do, by accident, end up with a slightly off angle. So she sat all the way up and we end up in this triangle. But my hips are turned the wrong way. So you see I'm facing this way. This hip's up off the ground. The angle isn't quite right on the triangle to finish. We can look to start attacking this arm, which I've covered in another session, where we're looking to go for reverse Americanas. So get a good angle on the camera here. This elbow is jammed in to the hip, and we simply pull the arm that's inside in the triangle, pull that thumb across the other side of you like this. You've got to stay facing this way when you do it. So if you try lying back onto your back, Susie will square up, and now she'll get this elbow to the other side of this hip, and now really struggle finishing this triangle. So we want to turn this way, bringing her thumb across my body, and now start to arc my back, driving my hip through that elbow, and you get your reverse Americana. So if you lock up that triangle fractionally early, don't worry, look to get on to that arm with the reverse Americana. You can invert arm bars as well, but probably stick with that one for now. Triangle. You want to be really careful about locking up. Allowing this elbow, the C grip on this arm, in the armpit with the elbow glued to this hip. Try finishing the triangle. So that's a neat little triangle defense. If you're finding yourself getting caught in here, don't allow this. Jam this elbow in on the hip with the forearm running up the rib cage with a C grip in this armpit. Finish it.
I can't even lock it up. You never got it.
It's a neat little cheap grip if you find yourself getting caught in there. So let's come in, elbow gets jammed in on the hip with that C grip up in the armpit here. So you kind of splint in one side of her body like that. So this isn't allowing her now to get her triangle off. Lock it up. I can't even work in a fully locked up triangle. I can bring my elbow back across, work it in, and take pressure off that triangle.
That was really good.
It's powerful, isn't it? So fully locked up triangles, we can get out of them by bringing this elbow back across. Don't let it get centered and don't leave her control it, because she can armbar you. It is risky, but we are in triangle. Elbow comes up, elbows down through this hip. It's here. So now the choke isn't on. Try playing. And I can start leaning back, putting a bit of pressure on, and getting out the triangle. Let's split.
Ross, question.
Yeah.
Why didn't you teach this to me my first day 4 years ago?
I was wondering that same question.
Just getting too much. Look, I'm still getting penny drop moments. I'm like, why haven't I done this before?
Is that what it was like when you did go-go Pilates the other week?
Right, what I got?
Can I ask a quick armbar question before you move on?
Yeah, cool.
Do you ever try, when you're transitioning from your high knee into swinging that leg round to get the armbar, are you ever trying to get the armbar from on top, or do you always wait until your bum's on the floor and try it that way?
Oh no, you can finish it on top.
Do you ever
Absolutely.
think about going for it, or is it just if they're like shit with their defense?
Sometimes it's momentum of the position. So if you're throwing yourself through the position, naturally you're falling backwards. Or it could be far slower and controlled, and then yeah, absolutely finish it on top.
Okay.
No preference, just do what's right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Good question though. Right, so yeah, funky triangle defense, elbow tight, forearm up. Yeah, Susie's gonna try it. So easiest is at this point now, Susie's gonna jam that elbow. No, I don't mean. She's just gonna turn the elbow into the hip here. Right, so now you see? So you see how Susie's turning her palm up, and this locks the elbow, makes you really strong on this arm. So what we don't want is to open this elbow at all. You want to turn it in, almost showing that palm to the ceiling, like you're handing something or something. I can't get my angle. So what I'd have to do here is be really tough. I've got to be throwing my hip up through, trying to get this elbow across to the other side. So she could do this, right? So I could have a fully locked up triangle. I reckon she could bring it over, get this C grip up in my armpit. She's got to have that in order to split something her to push off against.
Did it hurt? Nice.
Well, I couldn't hold on. So here, elbow tight. Yeah, and now she'll start posturing up, looking to the ceiling. So now see there's no choke. And eventually she can work this open. But it's no good just having the elbow jammed in. You've got to have something to push off of. So you use that contour up in the armpit, push off of, and start looking to create distance to free yourself from the triangle. So yeah, that's really useful. Things I can add to that. You want to go back. Stop that, please. So we're here. You start looking to walk to the side that the arm is on. So you'll turn, looking to pop that leg free, and turn that way. Need to do a bit more work on that, but right. So fun ones. We're going to roll through to an omoplata from this position where our opponent through here. So sometimes we end up in this position, not a great control position, because we need to have a point of control above the arm and one below. So here we've got two below the arm. She's probably going to sit up, get out of it. So what we can do, this top one, we're going to extract the lower one. The top one's going to come over to the other side. So we end up facing our opponent's feet. We make sure, so this our elbow that was buried on the crease of her elbow, cups her elbow, and I pull it past my hip. So this stops her from turning into me. It's actually a decent control position. Try getting up this way. Try turning up. Provided I keep her elbow up off the ground, she ain't going anywhere. You see? So pull this elbow tight to your hip. Keeps her elbow up off the floor, she's not going anywhere. So to go to an omoplata from here, I sit to an S position and I raise my butt. From here, I'm going to forward roll over my near side shoulder. Now we'll find myself in an omoplata. So if I want to be really mean, shimmy back here. Whenever you roll through on an omoplata, normally there's an opportunity for this spare leg to find her leg. Like right there. And you see the best place to pick it up from is the heel. Now here, Susie would like to get to her knees. Try going either way. Stuck. So this is actually a carny finish, so it's not an omoplata, it's a slightly different application. So from here, hook in this leg, you put your palms on the floor, push back, start sitting up, and applying the shoulder lock there. So whenever you roll through an omoplata, if that spare leg can find that near leg, you win. So you can deliberately put your top foot through and then move to omoplatas. Or sometimes we'll go for armbar, screw up a little bit, and we'll have both feet underneath the shoulder. So cup the elbow, lower leg off first, leg across, so we end up in an S position with both feet facing away from my opponent. Put the elbow in here. You can use this palm on the floor to help you get your butt up off the ground. And now roll forward using near side shoulder. So up, we're basing the outside leg up to roll under it. My opponent will sit up with me. And now I can hook, if I'm lucky, this leg. Always want to be fishy for that. From here to finish the position, palms on the ground. If you're flexible, you can get your foot under here and lock up this triangle. What Susie will be looking to do is to kick my foot off with her spare leg. Now you get an omoplata, and she can look to start escaping there. You're gonna find this leg getting hooked. Don't keep it there. Don't let it stay there. Use your other leg to boot it off and go to your omoplata and start looking for escapes. I want to be keeping this as high as possible, so I'm asking more of her flexibility to free that leg there. Works really well against big guys because you hold it up here and they can't reach it. So, but more flexible people, they'll kick it off every time. And we move to the omoplata position. As soon as we get into the knees, we lean across the hip, keeping control over our opponent so she can't roll out. Elbow, don't hug here. You put the elbow nice and tight. You can start leaning forward, raising our butt to apply the omoplata. Ever thoughts on that, guys? What do you think?
Can you do it? Can you do it one more time? I'm trying to draw myself a little diagram and it was too much for my diagram drawing.
Right. So we start off regular armbar position. We bring the top leg off and through the hole on the other side. We now switch from punching this through to cupping the elbow, extracting the top leg. So we go full S position, feet facing this way. From here now, up, cup the elbow, again, but up, roll through. If you can, hook the floating leg, push the back of it, and pick it up. If Susie kicks it off, this hand moves to the hip, and we put our armpit over the near side hip. All about this hip control here. So omoplata is initially controlling our opponent. We want a bar going across one hip to the other. So that's where we go. Now finish the omoplata from here. Knee. Weight goes through the shoulder. What we don't want to do is to have this knee traveling forwards. To break, well, look, it's a shoulder lock. So we've got to fix the shoulder in position in order to break it. It goes for any joint. If it's moving about everywhere, it's going to be a lot harder to break. So to fix the shoulder in position, this knee goes in, down, straight through her shoulder. Now it's fixed. So when I raise my butt, even people with flexible shoulders, you get taps on it. Here, Susie will have a lot further to go if my knee starts traveling forward, as you see. Try dropping that knee through the shoulder, you get an early attack. If they're super flexible, you can always attack some cheeky wrist locks. Yeah, they're always fun. A blue belt and above, so you just grab the wrist, push it down, get her fingers to the forearm. There. Good enough. Is that okay, Megan?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, Susie.
Ross, how do you finish the Mukata when you're sitting up, as in you're both sitting up and they haven't got to their knees?
Yeah.
How do you finish from there?
Up. So we're in here.
And you've got it hooked, yeah.
So finishing from here, lock your triangle up, and you just want to sit up. Now, the further I move my butt away, the tighter the shoulder lock gets. So I want to be moving my butt backwards. Cool?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I had a big, that's called a carny. I had a big carny phase. Big carny phase. Following people when they roll out your own platters always leads to those subs. Be ready to whip that outside leg in, to hook that leg. Helps loads.
Do you ever try and go when you've got your leg in that bad position when you're in the normal armbar position, but you've got, say you've got your left, as you're sitting there now, if you've got your left leg threaded through her arms to all her legs, do you ever go for the reverse, like trying to get your leg back underneath through the triangle?
So I end up here.
And
absolutely.
then pulling that left leg, your right leg out and going underneath for the reverse triangle. Do you ever go that route?
Yeah. So you could come to here. We can get back to a triangle, I believe, if instead of rolling through, as I lean forward, butt up off the ground.
Yeah.
Step backwards.
And then go from there, okay. Yeah.
Triangles here. So I'm more of an omoplata person, but definitely circle back into triangles here. So you see that.
Do you like it more just because you feel like you've got more control? Or you just like it more?
Platters have always just been more, have been better than me. I've always been very good at staying in omoplatas and following them.
Okay.
But if you're a triangle guy, like you get to this S position, you raise your butt, and now you step backwards. So step this leg back and over the head, switch in, elbow control. That's really important. So the control on this position and the movements off of it is all about keeping this elbow up off the floor. So I don't really want to be allowing this to drop to the ground. So I come up. Now I switch to my other hand and base on the other one. Step across, sitting on the chest. Here I can sit into arm bars again. These really tight under the armpit arm bars.
Yeah.
Or if my opponent, or I could be looking to come under her head and lock up triangles here. Normally want to fall off the other side.
Yeah.
Good question. It's definitely on. So yeah, what Tom's saying there is you can go through, switch the control on the elbow, switch again, take a seat on the chest if your opponent is tough.
I'm fucking tough.
Is it? Why can't you take me sitting on your chest?
Fucking
Oh. So yeah, you can sit off into triangles on the other side or attack those arm bars with the arm under the armpit there.
Thanks.
But yeah, so I think it's fun little position to work. I've overlooked a lot. Right, guys, coming up to 3/4 of an hour. Any questions? Anything you guys would like to ask?
Ross, as a general question on omoplata, like omoplatas and Nogi, do you find you have a lot of success with it in competition, or is it more of like a transitional position to work on the other submissions?
It definitely works. Definitely works. Nogi. The times I hit it the most is probably falling off of people's necks against higher level opponents. So if you get up to your knees. So I really like my front headlock. My opponent's arm is behind me. Sometimes when I'm falling, well, a lot of the time when I'm falling back off of this guillotine, the head will pop clear or they're pulling back. And I'm left with an arm wrap. So her head is moving backwards and I need it. We shimmy around with it. In this kind of mid-range position, the head slightly away from me in order to get this leg over to the other side. If I'm going straight for an arm wrap, she's going to be driving her head into me, and now I'm going to find it very hard to get this leg high enough into the omoplata. But falling off of the guillotine and giving a little bit of room, or she successfully defended it by placing her hands on the floor and pulling her head out. Her head's traveling backwards, so I release the neck, push the face away, and bring the leg over. Now, Megan, this happens to be my most common position for omoplatas as well.
Brilliant, thank you.
Because they and start throwing their body back at you into those omoplatas there. So it's a nice little submission chain. Get on the neck, fall backwards, they free their neck. As we're falling back, we frame on the head, leg comes over, they throw their weight back in the omoplatas, or we end up in omoplatas. There's also some nice leg lock entries off of this as well, where instead of sitting up and getting our arm across her back, stopping her from rolling, our lower arm, which shimmy around a bit, get in the camera, will go under the leg. This knee will turn to the ground and the foot will hook the hip. So she will now pull her arm clear for a relief. I'll throw this leg over, and now to go to leg locks from here, I grab the heel and start pulling it to me. Now, that pull will force her, pulling it across me will force her to roll. And now we're into a leg attacks. So yeah, there's some decent ways of dropping down onto the legs off of one part as well. Equally, you've got to be wary of your, if they get a successful escape, they can drop onto your legs as well. So if Susie puts me into an omoplata, so lean back. If I successfully free my arm, maybe I put my knee on my opponent's stomach and get the leg out, I've got this leg now isolated, but I can fall back to knee bars, heel hooks, different attacks here. So, no, it's definitely a position I utilize at high levels for sure.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. Right, guys, I guess we'll do the escapes then Thursday. Escaping arm bars out of that position. I'll think of some fun to add on to the end.
Sweet.
Hope
Thank you, Ross.
Oh, thank you, Ross.
Cheers, Ross and Susie.
Cheers. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you, Ross. Bye.